Okay, so your baby is finally here, Nikki. And in so many ways, that moment feels like the finish line.
Hmm.
But we know as doulas, it's actually just the beginning of something deeper.
Yes, yes, yes. Because what often gets overlooked in the excitement is your story.
Mhm.
Not just that your baby's here, but how they got here, how that experience lives in your body and your mind and in your heart. And together as a family, like what that looked like.
Yeah. Birth stories are such a powerful thing. They can be heavy, they can
Mhm.
be filled with excitement. But today's episode is all about the power of your birth story. You are listening to the Mom to Mom podcast, hosted by Stephanie Sinclair and Nikki Zwaber, partners and lead doulas here at How to Mom.
We're moms, we're professionals, and we're here to make motherhood feel a little less heavy and far more supported.
How to Mom is a community built for real life. From pregnancy and birth to postpartum and beyond, we support families through education, connection, and care. Our team of birth and postpartum doulas work with families every day while also sharing stories on our podcast and our blog to curate trusted resources for moms in the Twin Cities and beyond.
On this podcast, we talk about the real stuff, the stories that stay with you, the questions you're already asking, and the moments that feel hard, hopeful, and everything in between.
Absolutely. You will hear honest conversations, expert insight, lived experiences, and reminders that you are not doing this alone.
This is Mom to Mom. We're so glad you're here. And now, on to today's episode. Yeah. Every single story matters. My gosh, I think you and I could just have a podcast series on every single birth that we've attended.
Tell me everything.
Oh my gosh.
You could talk about birth all day
I
long.
know. Apologies in advance to anyone who knows and loves us that, like, somehow, some way, we always bring the conversation back to a birth that we had or an
I mean, how
experience.
can you not?
I know it's amazing. Like, sorry that you don't get to do this job. Not my fault.
Don't all your friends ask how you gave birth?
Yeah, duh. I mean, it's the best ever.
Yeah.
But I mean, they matter, and then every birth story is so completely unique. And as you know, here at How to Mom, our mantra is there is no right way to birth a baby. So whether your baby came via belly birth, cesarean, whether it came vaginal birth, medicated, unmedicated, surrogacy, adoption, every single path is valid.
And we support every single one of those. They deserve to be acknowledged. We always tell our clients that your birth story isn't just a moment in time. It's not just a Tuesday afternoon. It's something that can shape you for the rest of your life.
Yeah. There's a pretty special quote out there that I love, and it's your birth experience impacts your emotions, your mind, your body, and your spirit. And you and I get to see that every single day in our work, but then we're moms too. We've also gone through the experience of labor and birth and delivery and postpartum. And, I think the uniqueness of everyone's story too is part of what makes you a mom and a dad. And
Mhm.
like it shapes sort of who you are and maybe how you want to do it differently or how you want to define yourself based on that experience. And so it's just so transformational. We don't just say that, like, it's truly transformational.
Yeah, and I feel like we kind of hear this a lot on like social media these days, but we always say, right, like it's not just a baby being born that day. It's also a mom being born that day. And I think, I hope that at most births, I do look at my client and I tell them, I want you to think about those hard moments that you conquered while having your baby. And on those hard days that you're home with this little one, whether they're 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and you're having a hard day, I want you to think back to today and remember how you conquered that hard moment and you made it to the other side. And my hope is that that gets you through any hard days that are to come. Because truly, when Nikki and I leave births, we want to make sure that our clients feel so proud of themselves. They deserve to feel proud, and they deserve for everybody around them to celebrate truly how strong they were, because
Mhm.
growing a human is hard, hard work. And then
Mhm.
you birthed that human
Mhm.
potentially, no matter how it happened. And
Mhm.
it is powerful, regardless of how it happened. You should feel so proud. And I think sometimes people wait for like permission to feel proud, or think, everybody gives birth. Who am I to feel
Mhm.
proud? It's even harder to feel proud if your birth maybe didn't go as planned.
Yeah, yeah. Big quotations around as planned, by
Mm,
the way.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, pride and feeling proud. It's not just reserved for one particular type of birth, and
Mhm.
um, just like your story and that experience belongs to you, and you did something incredible, and it's just so it's so sacred.
Yeah.
This experience is so sacred and can be healing too for
Mhm.
so many people. And so, for those of you out there who have maybe felt a little bit of this along the way, of maybe I shouldn't feel proud, or maybe you're disappointed, or you feel like a failure because of something that happened, please, please, please be kind. Please,
Mhm.
please know that this is not just an everyday occurrence.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that kind of brings us to the heavier part of this episode, but one that deserves just as much
Yeah.
attention, is that you also deserve to process the hard parts.
Mhm.
Alongside that pride, there can also be grief,
Yeah.
or confusion,
Trauma.
and a lot of trauma.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is where we really want you to pause, because our culture often says like healthy baby is all that matters. It's, oh my gosh, there's nothing that irks me more,
Mhm.
especially when a mom is so vulnerable and
Mhm.
shares something so difficult,
Yep.
and the person in response says, but he's here and he's healthy, right? So
Yep.
shove all that trauma away
Mhm.
and just be grateful.
Yeah.
It's so icky.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just going to share quickly that the birth that I'm just coming off of was so beautiful. Um, and so alongside of the comments like healthy baby is all that matters, or at least he's here, it doesn't matter. Another comment that was heard in our birthing space from a doctor who, again, I think people mean well.
Mhm.
I think
Agreed.
society, I mean, I say that obviously like gently, like I think people mean well, but society is, we're so focused on, well, I think we're getting better, but I think prior times, like years and years and years, I think it's just been like, well, let's not talk about the hard. Let's not let's stay positive. Let's not go negative.
It's too uncomfortable to be in
Yes,
this
let's
icky
yes,
situation.
yes, yes. Like let's
I
stay,
don't know what to say.
yeah, let's stay comfortable, because silence is uncomfortable for people. And so my client was given a couple of options, for where we could go next, based on her situation. One of those options was an elective cesarean. And while the doctor, again, I think meant very well, the comments were very, you know what? You can have a beautiful cesarean and it's going to go great, and you're going to hold your baby. And how great is it going to be? Like, you're going to have a great birth with a cesarean. Like, you don't have to worry about that. And while I agree with her, yes, like every birth is beautiful and valid, my client was visibly upset. My client was exhausted. My client's partner was confused.
Mhm.
Um, and you could see the trauma building. And again, those types of comments, instead of something like, listen, this is a really hard decision, and I acknowledge that. What I want to share with you is, if this is the decision that you make, I promise you are in the best of hands. You are going to be so well cared for, and we will be here for you, holding your hand through every step.
Like, it's not that hard
It's really not.
to make that conversation so different in terms of how it's perceived. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not that hard to make it different and then it makes it so different.
Yes,
If that makes
actually,
sense.
it actually could change the entire
Everything.
trajectory of
Yes.
how this experience went. And so,
Which is why we say, like, it's not even necessarily how you birth your baby, but it's how you're made to feel.
yes, yes. And I share that story, and there's countless other stuff that you
I
and I have
know.
had, and other people and doulas out there in the world. Like, my gosh, like we do this every day. But we are huge believers in the power of and. So, like in
Yes.
those situations,
Yes.
you can be so grateful that your baby is in your arms and here, and
Mhm.
still grieve and have some pain around how it all unfolded.
Both can exist.
Yes, like they are not mutually exclusive, and you
Yeah.
can feel both, and nobody gets to tell you any different.
Yes. 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 And yes. We do believe that sharing your birth story, whether that's journaling,
Mhm.
so kind of sitting with it with yourself, maybe talking to a friend, or some of my favorite events we've done here at How to Mom is sitting in a circle in a dark room with candles lit and sharing our birth story with other mothers.
Yes.
It can be incredibly healing. It can help you process. It can answer maybe questions that you had 10, 20 years ago that all of a sudden
Mhm.
made sense. And it really can just help you feel less alone.
Mhm.
And so we are huge proponents of encouraging people to share their birth stories with people that you trust
Yeah, and feel safe.
and feel safe
Yeah.
with. And if you ever need to share your birth story, please know that we are here to
We
listen.
would love to hear it.
Absolutely, because you deserve to be heard.
Gosh, I'm just thinking right now, like if there's anyone out there and if you just want to like share your birth story with us, will you please email it to us?
Oh
I
my
would,
gosh.
it's not for anything else but our own like private consumption because like I said before, Steph and I could literally talk about birth
Yes,
24/7. So like if you've never had an experience or had someone that you felt like you could honestly share wins, grieving, losses, like please know that you're safe with us. We would love to hear from you.
we would be so honored because not only do you deserve to be heard, but like maybe it's your time to speak that story.
Amen.
Yeah.
Loudly.
Tell your story, tell all of it. But I don't want you to just tell what happened.
Yeah.
I want you to share with us, how did it feel? Where were there moments where you felt so strong? Where were the moments that you maybe felt fear?
Mm-hmm.
That those unexpected turns, the joy, so much of it plays a role in how we process when we can not only just share what happened, but we can share our moments, our feelings, our
Mm-hmm.
deepest vulnerability,
Yeah.
time frames. Like
Yeah.
all of it is so important. And there's just something really powerful about feeling heard. And for those of you maybe that are listening and maybe you had a birth story that didn't feel traumatic, but you have a friend who maybe did.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, probably we all have those.
Mhm.
When this person starts sharing their birth story with you, they're not asking you to fix it. They're not asking you to make them feel better about it. They're not asking you to minimize what their experience was. They just want you to listen.
Yeah. Just be in their space.
Mhm.
Be be their circle, be their bubble of safety. And that's why creating safe spaces for birth sharing matters so much to, I mean, whether it is a private conversation or a community event, whether you're sharing it via email with us at How to Mom, um, just creating that environment in those spaces for people can just be completely transformative
Yeah, agreed.
in a way that you may not understand until you either share it
Yeah,
or you receive it.
yeah,
Like, whoa,
yeah.
super life changing for a lot of people out there.
And I think maybe even listening to somebody else's birth story could be healing for your birth story, or it maybe would give you permission to kind of do the same. I also want to like just make note too that there's nothing that signifies or equals trauma. You can have somebody who has a low, no intervention, spontaneous vaginal delivery and that might have felt traumatic to them. You can also have somebody who had a C-section, and on the surface, you're thinking, oh, that had to have been traumatic. And they were like, no, it was the most empowering experience I've ever had.
Yes.
So just no assumptions.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good point. When I think when people share that they had a C-section, no matter how it's shared,
I'm so sorry. And you might have a mom who says, why?
Yeah.
I had the most beautiful belly birth. I felt so empowered. We have a client, and I'm sure in Nikki's mind, she's thinking of the same person, that like she owned every decision and had the most incredible experience. And on paper, maybe some people would think, oh, that must have been traumatic. And she's like, actually, it was quite the opposite.
Yeah. Every birth story matters, people.
Yeah. And obviously, this just brings us to like why we've built this community at How to Mom. Yes, we have services, and yes, we feel very honored when we get to support families during birth and postpartum. But community is huge. And even if you've never reached out and you just listen to our podcast or just read our blogs or whatever, this community matters, and each one of you matter and make it what it is. And this connection is just, I hope, for you just as meaningful as it is for us. It's an honor of a lifetime, really, to do this work and to have these conversations with all of you.
I agree. I mean, just to wrap it up, we, speaking for both of us, I think we encourage you to go ahead, like whisper it, write it on a piece of paper and burn it, put it in a journal, share it with a friend, speak it out loud in a room full of safety, and let that be what it needs to be for you. So connection, community, healing, let it be whatever it needs to be for you, because it's your experience and you deserve that space to process however you need to process.
Yes. And never forget, your story matters.
And we love you.
We do. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and we will catch you on the next episode.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening. For show notes, links, and more information, please visit our website at howtomom.com. That's HOW2MOM.com.
And remember, whether you're a mom, a parent, or a caregiver, you are doing great. It's progress over perfection, and we're all just figuring it out together.